Hello everyone, hope you are well on this Saturday morning. It is bright and sunny here in North Georgia where we live. It's supposed to get up in at least the mid 90s with humidity. It's going to feel like 100 probably. So stay hydrated wherever you are, whatever you're doing. We're going to get out here and do a little work, but we're going to be careful about it. So be careful out there in that heat, y'all. It's getting more dangerous. It's getting increasingly dangerous out there. And I say that even more so than I would have 3 days ago. I'll explain a little more. Okay, stay with me. Also, are we going to see a famine in this country, in North America even? Are we going to see big time food shortages? I'll go more into that. It's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question. Okay. Also have a fantastic passage I'm going to share with you guys, so stay tuned for that. And I also have a good bartering item I'm going to point out and a good prep item I'm going to point out here in a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Also, it's getting increasingly dangerous out there. I believe the very, very thin line of relative law and order that we think we have here in the United States is quickly disappearing. If not, I believe it's already gone. It's already gone, I believe. I think it's a facade. I don't think it's there anymore. A few years ago, I would have said it's a thin line and it's getting thinner. And I used to say that. I have said that before. I think it's gone. I think it's gone. I think it varies from place to place somewhat. But I think increasingly what we're seeing is it doesn't matter where you are anymore. I'm hearing from a lot of you out there also in emails that, by the way, emails. I apologize. It takes me a minute to get to email. So if you've emailed me, especially in the last couple of days, and I haven't gotten to them, bear with me. I will get to them. Okay, I promise. It's just been busy, especially the tail end of this past week has been a doozy for us here. Okay, um, but I'm hearing from a lot of you that you're seeing things that you don't normally see where you live. You live there for years, and you're not accustomed to seeing people walking around, random crime, people walking around and not knowing kind of where they're going, as if they've just been dropped off. You know what I mean? Violent crime, not just theft crime, not just like breaking into stuff. That's like nothing anymore. That just happens. It's almost like we accept it. We shouldn't accept that either. Uh, or shoplifting or things like that. But it's the violent crime, the attacks. They seem to be more. I think they're on the rise, definitely, and increasingly violent. All right. There's many reasons for that, but I think the main thing we have to remember is number one, don't let it hold you up in the home. Get out and do your business. We just have to be ready. We need to be, and I know I'm not the only, before I say that, I'm not the only one on YouTube talking about this. I realize that. I get it. Other people are talking about this, but it's hitting closer to home. It hit close to home for us here this week. All right, I'll go more into that in a minute. But I think the main thing is we need to have something on us, something to defend ourselves, something, something other than hope and a prayer. Prayer is number one. Prayer, definitely. Pray for protection. But I think we also need to be ready to physically defend ourselves. Now, that may look different for some different folks. I get it. If you're not comfortable with a pew pew, as they say, you better have something else. Something. Okay. The buddy system. Try not to go out alone if you can. I know it's not possible for everybody, but have an extra pair of eyes with you. It helps too. Look after each other. That is paramount right now. Okay. Nowadays, it's a must. Okay. In my opinion, if at all possible. You got the Arkansas shooting in Arkansas that happened, it looked like yesterday. At least 3 people lost their lives in this one. Many wounded. And it sounds kind of random. And when we think about it, we never we never really get updates. We never really get news on why, motive, who, more specifics. They're just not letting us know, are they? It makes you wonder. And then that makes people suspicious of other things. And that's how things get blown out of proportion sometimes. But we just don't know. We don't get this information. We just get little things and then it's gone because the next one's coming. It's like, okay, that shooting happened or that attack happened. And then before we can even, it's like it's gone. And then it's like a next one within hours or the next day, there's some other things and these are just the ones we're hearing about in the media. There's others like one that happened not far from, I'm not going to go into, not far from where we live, y'all, close to where I work. This was not involving a firearm. It was involving a weapon, but a man was attacked. He was targeted. We don't know exactly why. And it was horrific, horrific, y'all. Very close to home. Broad daylight, in front of other people. Now, some other people close by did jump in and assist. That's good. It saved his life, at least for now. It's questionable whether this guy's going to survive. It doesn't look good. But this is close. This is hitting close. And, in an area that is considered safe, but it really isn't, is it? We're seeing a lot more of that. Parking lots. Y'all, I don't care what business it is or what kind of place you're in. Parking lots, I'm noticing a pattern. It seems to be when you're out in the open, these things are happening. Whether it's targeted or not, it could be random. It could be like a crime of opportunity, or you look vulnerable, or whatever. But the parking lots, be careful. Your gas stations, of course. But just about anywhere in public, even driving, we need to be observant who's around us and how they're behaving. But you're hearing about other places, the water parks that we had last weekend. I believe that was near Chicago. I believe it's hard to keep up. But again, back to even places like this, Arkansas, 65 miles south of Little Rock. It's not like it's in Little Rock or in a large, like New York City or something like this. This is a small town. I was reading the article and it was interviewing locals, and they're in total shock. We're not used to seeing this here. This never happens here. Our hearts are broken. This town is broken because of this. We just don't see this here. I hear that more and more. 65 miles away from Little Rock, y'all. Never even heard of this place. Fordyce. I'm probably not pronouncing it right. Fordyce, Arkansas. Probably a nice little place. It got shattered yesterday. Water parks where kids are playing last weekend. That's just a few things. The one that hit close to home here this week for us. Not terribly far from the Lake and Raleigh thing that happened. You've heard about Lake and Raleigh. So that's two big ones, pretty close to us. And that's just the ones we hear about too. I mean, that's not even considering all the little random stuff that happens that's not necessarily grabs media attention. But the main thing is to just be, like I've mentioned before, observant, alert, ready to react. Okay, you don't want to be shocked as everybody else and just in unbelief, because we almost have to expect that it is a possibility every time we go out in public. And it's sad, but it is a reality. Look, we have to look after each other. We have to look after ourselves, but look after each other. Like I mentioned before, if you can go out with somebody and just have an extra pair of eyes, y'all, All right. Are we looking at a famine? Are we looking at big time food shortages? I've been hearing more and more about this. I haven't covered this yet. A few other people have been covering it a little bit. Idaho, especially the potato farmers, or farmers in general, were given notice that from the Department of Water that they've got to shut off their wells and not irrigate their farms. Now, I mean, how much more do you need to, how much proof do you need that things are on purpose? It's intentional to do harm than to tell a farmer they can't irrigate their crops in season. Potatoes, and the farmers are saying the reservoirs are full. It's not that there's a problem. So if they shut off the water, they can't irrigate their crops. They won't grow the crops. They go out of business. That seems to be the plan here from above. So if you have farmers going out of business, this has a huge ripple effect on the economy in general, especially there with truck driving, equipment people, mechanics, the repair service industry, the store owners, the grocery stores, you name it. It just trickles down to everything. Transportation. If this isn't rectified, if this isn't corrected, that I mean that's a big thing. That's a big deal. It sounds like to me. Now I'm not an expert on farming and potato farming, in Idaho, but this doesn't sound good at all. I wanted to bring it to your attention in case you haven't heard about it. This could have a nationwide impact. My first thought is there needs to be a little a pushback is another word for it I won't use, but a pushback from farmers. No, I'm going to water this is my lifeline. This is my lifeblood right here. I'm going to irrigate my crops. Now they're saying that if they use the water anyway, that there's a $300 fine per acre for using water, y'all. What is happening? Kind of know what's happening, I guess, don't we? $300 fine per acre. So there again here, what can we do? If you have a garden, do all you can to keep that going. We're having a tough time, and I think this heat, but with our little garden here, we're having kind of a tough time. Oops, I got a visitor. Hey, Teddy. But if you grow, and even if you're having trouble, stick with it, stick to it, keep plant more if you can, and adjust, pivot, keep with it. We have to try to grow what we can, but if you can't, or if we're having a bad garden season, what's your backup? Grab some extra every time you go to the store. Or like, Dawg, I can't afford extra. I get it. I get it. Do what you can. One is none. One is zero. Two is one. Every little bit can help. Grab a few extra if you can. It builds up fast. Okay, real quick. A bartering item. People are like, what is a barter item? Bartering item. If it gets to that point, or you can barter now if you have a willing partner. A good bartering item, in my opinion, we always talk about coffee. If you get a situation where you have no power, especially, and you just need to heat up water, coffee. We talk about coffee being a good bartering item. These are the singles, the little coffee singles, the little pouches. You can, like one serving. Heat up some water, put that in there. These things are pretty good, actually. I use them a good bit. I'm in a hurry, and I use these things. This brand is pretty good. There's other brands. Good barter item. Good barter item. And they're cheap. They're pretty cheap. Good prep. I've showed this before. It's been quite a while. A mini Sawyer. They're not that expensive. You can get them in any store. You can get them on Amazon, online if you want to, but you can get them in Walmart, Academy Sports, all the big box stores, of course. But they filter up to 100,000 gallons of water for this little thing. Good for camping or even like hiking. You know, if you don't have water or run out of water or whatever, it's a good water filter. Excellent. All right. I highly recommend this thing. Keep a few on hand. All right. All right. Gonna have to have water no matter what happens. All right. Passage. Been a while since I've covered this one, but it was speaking to me this morning. Psalm 35. Psalm 35, first few verses. Contend, Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take up shield and armor, arise and come to my aid. Brandish spear and javelin against those who pursue me. Say to me, I am your salvation. May those who seek my life be disgraced and put to shame. May those who plot my ruin be turned back in dismay. May they be like chaff before the wind, with the angel of the Lord driving them away. May their path be dark and slippery, with the angel of the Lord pursuing them. Amen. This day and time, y'all, we're being pursued, all right. And it's out in the open. It's not even uh, in the shadows anymore. It's out in the open. It's not subtle. If you just pay attention a little bit, we must stay close to the Lord our God. We must stay close to Jesus. Keep that relationship strong and close. That is so paramount right now. All right. Share your thoughts on this. Let's be safe out there. Be safe, be observant. God bless you, and I will see you soon.